What excites you the most about this place? What scares you maybe the most about this place?
Well, I'll start with the second. You know, the size and scale and the magnitude of just the time. Like the bandwidth to go to all the events, to communicate with all of you. There's not this many people in the Texas A&M beat, right? So to be able to communicate effectively with your staff, your coaches, there's over 500 employees. So it's really just the size and the scale and the time to do it the right way, because that's what you want to do. Those are the things that I'm just going to have to manage and learn. And luckily, we'll have one child out of the house, or I won't be watching him play on Friday nights. I'll just have Paxton here, and Sonia will be supportive. And then what excites me, honestly, is the place, the people. Like, this is the pinnacle of college athletics. And you have a chance to be a leader, not because it's about me by any stretch of the imagination, but it's about the institution, and it's about how do we form the model. It's all the things we just talked about. So just the excitement of having the brand power, having the stature, having the wherewithal to win in every sport, those things excite me. And then the enterprise of just what this place is all about for this state, that's going to be a lot of pride that I have from a personal standpoint.
Ross, when did this job become like reality for you? Like, what was that time like?
Yeah, I mean, look, when you're a sitting AD in the SEC, people are going to call, right? And you get calls here and there. And so right before the holidays, the search firm, was reaching out, and that's where we had to kind of sit down and say, okay, what would the process look like? Do we really want to be involved in this? As a sitting AD, we love our time at A&M. We have an upcoming eighth grader. Peyton's going off to high school. See, the first thing is family. And then played in the Texas Bowl, went to that game, didn't hear a whole lot. And then when President Carter got on the ground, that's when things heated up. We had some meetings Sunday night and Monday, and here we are today.
Was it hard to leave knowing you had just hired Mike Elko?
The biggest part was that guilt around Coach Elko, and I talked to him on Monday, and he was awesome. That guy is a winner. What I love about Coach is nothing phases him. He's got thick skin, and so he knows the industry. We just plucked him from Duke, so if Ohio State was going to call, he knows that, look, that's something you got to do. So we had a great conversation. So that was the biggest part, but then also just leaving back everybody else that you were part of, the relationships, those kind of things. That's always the right decision's usually the easy part. It's the emotions, the people, the logistics. So it came down to those things that we had to walk through.
You seem very high on Ryan Day. Can you reiterate some of your thoughts on Coach Day?
I think if you know what high-level football looks like, you know what high-level football looks like. If you can coach, you can coach. One of the guys I've been around for a long time is Jerry Kill. That guy can coach, right? Ryan Day can coach. It doesn't matter what program you're at. Jerry Kill won 10 games at New Mexico State. Okay, Ryan Day wins a lot of games here. He can coach. Now, the pieces, you got to make adjustments, and he's doing that, right? The roster piece is really, really important right now. So I was really impressed when we sat down. Know a ton of people that we know, as mutual friends, mutual colleagues, and I just can't wait to see the first practice and get after it in Ohio State.
In terms of assistant coaches,
Just a couple more, guys.
Is there a level you'll go to from a salary standpoint, or is it just always evolving? You understand what I'm saying? I mean, staff.
It's evolving, right? Again, this market is ever changing, right? And it's going to be the Big Ten and the SEC. You're going to have the highest salaries. So what does that all look like? Who can you get? Who's the right fit? He makes the decision on who the person is, and then it's the AD's job to say, okay, what does the contract look like? What's the budget? What's the salary? What are the parameters of the contract? Those kind of things. That's where the AD comes in. But if it's somebody that we want and somebody that we can get and you can pay for it, then let's give the infrastructure and the resources to the coach, because we want to compete at the highest level.
Have you met Chris Holtmann?
I did.
Chris Holtmann?
Yeah, I did. I met him. I talked to him on the phone Tuesday morning, and then talked to him and met him face to face this morning.
Impressions?
Look, he seems like a great guy. Seems like he's doing a great job. Obviously, don't like losing that game on Monday, and so we talked about how does he kind of build chemistry and culture on the stretch run. You got basically, 2.5 months left of the regular season or so. So I know he's looking to finish strong.
Last question right here.
Some of the conversation about maybe the football facility, there's been talk about maybe expanding it, a new one.
Just-
Did that come up in all
It's on the radar.
process?
It's on the radar. Hey, look, once I get a tour, like, I haven't seen anything. I don't even know where my office is, let alone the football building. So once I get a tour, like everything I've done, every stop is I do a full tour. And here it'll probably take about 10 days to look at every facility. And I want to look at every bathroom, every locker room, every office, every weight room. I want to look at everything so that way I can have a full understanding. So when somebody comes to me and says, hey, we need to change this, I can say, you know what, I saw that. Are you sure? Or, hey, you know what, I think you're right, but maybe here's a way to do it. So it'll take some time to do all that. But it was a general conversation that, hey, it's on the radar, it's been discussed.
Any other things on the radar football-wise that they brought up?
Nothing that was brought to my attention.
You're coming in here obviously with
We
fresh
can
eyes.
go.
Yeah.
We're good.
Oh, okay.
With both the football and the basketball team as the sports that generate the most revenue here, in your opinion, what should be the expectation for those two sports and what their coaches should be accomplishing in terms of tangible results?
You want to win championships, and that should be the expectation. That, again, this is not for the faint of heart. Be not afraid. So we will not be afraid of embracing that. The coaches understand the magnitude of all of that. And so they have to have the wherewithal, the chops. I talked about the chops. They have to have the chops to deal in that environment, to understand the dynamics. But that's Ohio State, and that should be the standard. And then if it doesn't happen, were we in the mix? And maybe you got beat by a last-second shot or a last-second field goal. I mean, think if that field goal goes in against Georgia the year before. What are we talking about then? Right? So things, the margin can be really, really thin at the elite level, and that's, to me, what happens here. If you don't win that championship, that margin's still really thin, and we're right there.
Ross, what does the timeline look like for you in terms of balancing, finishing out Texas A&M?
Yeah, I'll wrap up at A&M probably here in the next couple weeks. Just hand that stuff off. I think they're in the process of evaluating, interim leadership, things like that. Like I said, I'll start coming around more after March 1st. Big Ten tournaments, number one hockey team in the country on the women's side. So hopefully they make a great run, and I want to see some games, postseason games with hockey. So I'll just kind of be around, and again, it's all going to be about the people and the place, and going to events and trying to just learn all of your names, because I don't know all your names. So it'll be about that, really starting after March the 1st.
Great.
Thanks,